They manipulate and control through fear. The very first sign that you're dealing with a human demon is this: they manipulate and control you through fear. Think about it. Real love never seeks to control, it seeks to free. A genuine friend, a true partner, or a person filled with light will want you to grow, to expand, to flourish. But when you're dealing with someone carrying dark energy, their only goal is to keep you small. How do they do that? They use fear as their weapon. Fear of losing them, fear of their anger, fear of being abandoned, fear of being rejected. They plant doubts in your mind and make you believe you can't live without them. Slowly, they wrap invisible chains around your heart, convincing you that if you don't obey, if you don't follow, if you don't please them, you'll lose everything. That's not love, that's bondage. Have you noticed how manipulators use guilt to control you? They'll say things like, "If you really loved me, you'd do this," or "After everything I've done for you, you owe me." They make you feel as though your existence depends on serving their needs. That's how human demons operate. They twist your kindness and turn it into a prison. And then comes intimidation. Some don't scream or yell, but their silence, their cold stares, their subtle threats are enough to make you shrink. They know how to create an atmosphere of fear without saying a word. This is not a mistake. It is calculated. It is spiritual manipulation. They are using fear to drain your courage and weaken your spirit. But here's the truth. God did not give you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Anyone who constantly makes you fearful is not walking in God's light. Fear is the language of darkness, while freedom is the language of light. If someone makes you afraid to speak your truth, afraid to follow your dreams, afraid to walk in your purpose, you miss it all. Just open your eyes, because you may be dealing with more than just a toxic person. You are facing spiritual darkness disguised as love. Real love empowers. It encourages. It makes you feel safe. If someone truly values you, they will never use fear to hold you close. Instead, they will use trust, faith, and kindness to walk beside you. Remember this: control is not love, it's slavery. So if you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells around someone, if you find yourself silencing your dreams, your voice, your light, just to keep them happy, pause and ask yourself, am I being loved or am I being controlled? The first sign of a human demon is always their obsession with control, and their favorite weapon, fear. But once you recognize this weapon, you disarm it. The moment you stop letting fear guide you, their power over you ends. Stand tall, speak boldly, and remember, fear is a lie, but truth is freedom. They drain your energy. The second sign you're dealing with a human demon is this: they drain your energy. You've probably experienced this before. You meet someone, you spend time with them, and when you finally leave their presence, you don't feel uplifted, you don't feel inspired, you don't feel loved. Instead, you feel tired, you feel heavy, you feel like your spirit has been emptied. That is not an accident. That is not coincidence. That is what happens when you connect with someone whose spirit is not filled with light, but with darkness. These people are like spiritual parasites. Just as a leech attaches to your skin and feeds off your blood, a human demon attaches to your soul and feeds off your energy. They don't come to give, they come to take. And they keep taking until you feel like a shell of who you used to be. Pay attention to their patterns. They are always gossiping, always complaining, always criticizing. Their words are never filled with life, but with negativity. And here's the truth: words carry energy. When you spend time with someone whose mouth only speaks bitterness, you're not just listening to negativity, you're absorbing it. It seeps into your mind, into your emotions, and before you know it, you start feeling restless, anxious, and drained. Have you ever noticed how some people never celebrate your wins? Instead of clapping for you, they find ways to minimize your success. That's energy draining. Others always come to you with problems, but never solutions. They dump their burdens on you without ever caring about your own struggles. That's energy draining. Some even thrive on chaos. They stir up drama, arguments, and confusion wherever they go. That is the spirit of darkness feeding on your peace. Understand this: your energy is sacred, your peace is valuable, your joy is your strength. And the enemy knows if he can't stop your blessings, he'll try to drain your energy so that you don't even have the strength to enjoy those blessings. That's why human demons are often sent into your life, not just to distract you, but to drain you. But here's the good news: you have the power to protect your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your spirit. Just because someone calls you a friend doesn't mean they are good for your soul. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they're meant to walk with you in every season. It is not cruelty to protect your energy, it is wisdom. If you want to grow, if you want to shine, if you want to walk in purpose, you must surround yourself with people who pour into you, not those who drain you. People who inspire you, not those who weaken you. People who challenge you to rise higher, not those who drag you down into darkness. So the next time you leave a conversation or an encounter feeling empty, pay attention. Your spirit is warning you. Because one of the clearest signs you're dealing with a human demon is that they don't add to your life. They subtract from it. Protect your energy. Protect your spirit. Because when you do, you keep your light shining and no darkness can put it out. They pretend to be what they're not. The third sign you're dealing with a human demon is this: they pretend to be what they're not. One of the greatest deceptions of darkness is disguise. A snake never shows its fangs at first. It hides in the grass, silent, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In the same way, human demons don't always show you their true nature in the beginning. Instead, they wear masks. They study you. They learn your weaknesses, your desires, your insecurities, and then they present themselves as the exact person you want them to be. They know how to smile when they need to. They know how to speak the right words. They can charm you, impress you, and even make you believe they care deeply for you. But it's all a performance. Behind the mask lies jealousy, envy, bitterness, and deceit. Have you ever met someone who talks endlessly about loyalty but is the first to betray you? Or someone who preaches kindness but speaks cruelty behind closed doors? Or maybe someone who claims they love you but secretly competes with you? That's the spirit of deception at work. Understand this: even the devil himself masquerades as an angel of light. If evil came to you wearing horns and fire, you'd recognize it instantly. But because it comes in the form of charm, sweetness, and false promises, many people fall into the trap. That's why discernment is so important. It's not about what someone says, it's about what their consistent actions reveal. Look closely, and you'll notice cracks in the mask. They claim to support you, but when you succeed, they disappear. They say they love you, but when you need them most, they're nowhere to be found. They talk about truth, but you catch them in lies again and again. The mask can only last so long before their true spirit is exposed. Here's the danger. If you fall for the mask, you give them access to your heart. And once they have access, they can manipulate, deceive, and wound you deeply. That's why you must learn to see beyond appearances. Stop listening only to what people say. Start watching what they do. A real person of light doesn't need to fake kindness. It radiates from them naturally. They don't need to pretend to be loyal. Their actions prove it. They don't need to boast about their goodness. It shows in their spirit. But a human demon must constantly perform, constantly pretend, because deep down, they are not aligned with truth. So guard your heart. Don't be fooled by charm. Don't fall for smooth words, and don't let appearances blind you. Masks are easy to wear, but energy never lies. If you pay attention, you'll feel it. Something will feel off. Something in your spirit will whisper, this person is not who they claim to be. That is your intuition, your spiritual discernment warning you. The third sign of a human demon is their disguise, the mask they wear to hide their darkness. But once you see past the mask, you reclaim your power. Because light always exposes the dark, they rejoice in your pain. The fourth sign you're dealing with a human demon is this: they rejoice in your pain. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people's true colors only come out when you're struggling? When life is good for you, they smile, they clap, they act supportive. But the moment you go through a storm, the mask slips. Instead of standing by your side, instead of lifting you up, they secretly celebrate your downfall. That is one of the clearest signs you're dealing with someone operating in darkness. A person filled with love hurts when you hurt. They cry when you cry. They want to see you recover, heal, and rise again. But a human demon finds satisfaction in your suffering. They may not say it out loud, but you'll notice it in subtle ways, through their lack of empathy, their cold reactions, or the way they spread gossip about your pain. Pay close attention to those who suddenly go silent when you're hurting. Pay attention to the ones who distance themselves when life knocks you down. Pay attention to the ones who never reach out, never encourage, never pray for you. Because the truth is, your pain doesn't bother them. It pleases them. Some will even go further. They won't just ignore your pain. They'll amplify it. They'll remind you of your failures, whispering things like, "I told you this would happen," or "You should have listened to me." Instead of helping you heal, they press on the wound, making it deeper. That is not love. That is evil delighting in destruction. And here's why this happens. Darkness cannot stand light. When you shine, when you succeed, when you walk in purpose, you remind them of what they lack. So when life hits you and you stumble, they feel relief. They feel satisfaction because for a moment, your light dims. And to them, that's victory. But here's what you must remember. God sees the hearts of people. The Sam, people who laugh at your pain will one day watch you rise higher than ever before. The same ones who mocked you in the valley will witness God place you on the mountain. That's why you must not waste your time seeking validation from people who rejoice in your pain. Their approval is worthless because their spirit is already corrupted by envy. Instead, surround yourself with those who can sit with you in your darkest nights and remind you of the light within. Those who will pray for you when you can't even pray for yourself. Those who love you enough to lift you up when life tries to tear you down. That is the energy of light, the energy of truth, the energy of God. The painful truth is this. Sometimes the ones closest to you will rejoice the loudest when you're hurting. But when you see it, don't despair. Take it as a divine revelation. God is showing you who is real and who is fake, who is for you and who is against you, who is light and who is darkness. The fourth sign of a human demon is their secret joy in your suffering. Never ignore it. Because if someone cannot weep with you in pain, they do not deserve to celebrate with you in victory. They pull you away from God and your purpose. The fifth sign you're dealing with a human demon is this. They pull you away from God and your purpose. Understand this. Your life has meaning. You were created with divine intention. God placed gifts, talents, and purpose inside of you before you were even born. But here's the truth. Darkness doesn't just want to hurt your feelings, it wants to disconnect you from your source. Because if it can separate you from God, it can weaken you. If it can distract you from your purpose, it can destroy you. And that's exactly what human demons are sent to do. They don't just waste your time, they waste your destiny. They don't just break your heart, they break your focus. They don't just steal your energy, they steal your calling. Have you noticed how certain people always show up when you're trying to grow spiritually? You decide to pray more, they distract you. You decide to focus on your goals, they create chaos. You decide to walk away from sin, they tempt you back into it. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual interference. Darkness works through people who are willing vessels, and human demons are often those vessels. They may tell you things like, "You don't need to pray so much, you're wasting your time." Or, "Why are you chasing that dream? You'll never succeed." They plant seeds of doubt to weaken your faith and steal your motivation. And if you're not careful, you start believing them. You start lowering your standards. You start drifting away from the very things that once gave you strength. But here's the reality. Anyone who pulls you away from God is not walking in light. A true friend encourages you to grow closer to God. A true partner pushes you toward your dreams, not away from them. A true supporter wants to see you in alignment with your divine purpose, not living beneath your potential. If someone constantly pulls you in the opposite direction, pay attention. It is not by accident. This is why discernment is so important. Not every distraction comes dressed as evil. Sometimes it comes dressed as fun, as comfort, as love, as companionship. But you must ask yourself, is this person drawing me closer to God or pushing me further away? Are they encouraging my purpose or making me forget who I am? The answer will tell you everything you need to know. Here's the empowering truth. When you realign with your purpose, no human demon can stop you. They can distract you for a season, but they cannot destroy what God has placed in you. Your calling is eternal. Your destiny is unstoppable. But you must protect it. You must guard it. You must refuse to let anyone pull you out of alignment with your Creator. So if you feel drained, lost, or distant from God after being around someone, listen to that warning. Don't ignore it. That's not just a toxic relationship. That's a spiritual battle, and the price is too high to ignore. The fifth sign of a human demon is their influence in leading you away from God and your purpose. Recognize it early, stand firm in your faith, and never let anyone distract you from the light within you. They never truly change. The sixth and final sign you're dealing with a human demon is this: they never truly change. Now listen carefully. Every human being makes mistakes. We all stumble, we all fall short, we all have moments where we say or do the wrong thing. But here's the difference. A person who is truly walking in light will acknowledge their mistakes. They will feel conviction. They will repent, apologize, and try to do better. Growth is the evidence of a soul that seeks truth. But a human demon is different. They live in cycles. They repeat the same toxic behaviors over and over again. They may apologize when you confront them. They may shed tears. They may promise to do better, but the change never lasts. A week later, a month later, a year later, they return to the same patterns. Why? Because their heart was never sincere. They didn't want to change. They just wanted to keep access to you. Think about it. How many times has someone hurt you, apologized, and then turned around and did the same thing again? How many times have you given chance after chance only to realize nothing ever changes? That is because you are not dealing with weakness, you are dealing with wickedness. Weakness is temporary, but wickedness is intentional. One of the tricks of darkness is to keep you stuck in cycles. Cycles of abuse, cycles of disappointment, cycles of false hope. Human demons are experts at keeping you trapped by giving you just enough hope to stay, but never enough change to be free. They throw crumbs of affection, but never true love. They give empty promises, but never real transformation. And here's the painful truth. Waiting for a human demon to change is like waiting for fire not to burn. It goes against its very nature. You will exhaust yourself waiting for something that will never happen. You will waste years holding on to potential that will never manifest. Now, let me be clear. People aligned with God do change. They may not be perfect, but you will see growth. You will see effort. You will see fruit. As Scripture says, you will know them by their fruits. If someone claims they've changed, but their actions remain the same, believe the fruit, not the words. So what must you do when you see this sign? Accept the truth. Stop waiting for them to become who you need them to be. Stop hoping that one day they'll wake up and finally honor your worth. They won't, because darkness cannot produce light. A human demon doesn't want to grow, they want to keep you bound. But here's the good news. Once you recognize the pattern, you break the cycle. Once you accept that they will never truly change, you stop wasting your time. You stop giving second, third, fourth chances. You stop sacrificing your peace for their chaos. And in that moment, you take back your power. The sixth sign of a human demon is that they never truly change. Don't let their empty promises keep you in chains. Choose freedom, choose light, choose to walk away and protect your destiny. Because the longer you wait for them to change, the longer you delay your own growth. My friend, we have walked through 6 undeniable signs that you may be dealing with a human demon. We've uncovered how they manipulate you through fear, how they drain your energy, how they wear masks of deception, how they secretly rejoice in your pain, how they pull you away from God and your purpose, and finally, how they never truly change. These are not just random behaviors. These are spiritual strategies designed to weaken your soul and derail your destiny. Now here's the truth you must hold close to your heart. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward freedom. You see, the greatest danger of a human demon is not their presence. It is your blindness to who they truly are. When you cannot see them for what they are, they control you. But the moment your eyes are opened, the moment you recognize the signs, the chains begin to break. You are not created to live under the control of manipulation. You were not placed on this earth to have your energy drained, your spirit diminished, and your light dimmed by the darkness in someone else. You were born with divine power, born with a purpose, born with a calling that no demon, human or spiritual, can stop unless you allow them to. Here's what you must remember. Some people are not in your life to help you grow. They are there to test you. They are there to teach you discernment. They are there to push you closer to God by showing you what happens when you drift away from Him. Do not confuse their presence as proof that you must keep them. Sometimes God allows certain people to enter your life, not as a blessing, but as a lesson. And once you've learned the lesson, it's time to let go. It's time to protect your spirit. It's time to guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. When you recognize the 6 signs, don't hesitate, don't delay, don't convince yourself that maybe they'll change, maybe they'll do better, maybe things will improve. Darkness does not turn into light just because you wish it to. A snake does not become harmless because you want it to. The most powerful act you can take is to walk away, not in anger, not in hate, but in wisdom, in strength, in spiritual clarity. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to prove anything. You don't even need to expose them. Just step into your light, and their darkness will no longer touch you. So as we close, let me leave you with this truth. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. You are a child of light, chosen by God, covered by grace, and destined for greatness. And no human demon, no false friend, no toxic relationship has the authority to stop what God has placed inside of you. Walk away from the darkness. Step boldly into your light. And let your life be the testimony that no demon, human or otherwise, can destroy a soul that belongs to God.